Hello and welcome to The Big Picture. After its worst ever performance in the last Lok Sabha elections nearly a year back, the Congress party is still unable to find its feet. In fact, if any, the crisis has just gotten more acute with the nearly 2-month disappearance of the Vice President of the party, Rahul Gandhi, of the party. Rahul Gandhi's return yesterday has been accompanied by a litany of no-confidence statements against him by senior and not-so-senior leaders. Many of the leaders have been pleading for the continuation of Sonia Gandhi as the president, as they feel the time is not ripe for the change of guard at the top. However, the reports have been appearing that the changeover is imminent as Sonia wants to pass on the baton to her son. So is the Congress organization not in sync with Rahul Gandhi, or is Rahul Gandhi not in sync with the party? What will be the outcome of this internal crisis in the party? We will discuss all this today with Pushpesh Pant, a political analyst, Tom Vadakkan, spokesperson of the Congress party, Prof. Mridula Mukherjee, a historian at the Center for Historical Studies, JNU, Vinod Sharma, political editor, Hindustan Times, and Smita Gupta, associate editor of The Hindu. Welcome to all of you. Tom, looking at the statements which have been appearing, from among the senior leaders, some not so senior leaders, former MPs and all that, it seems that the party is not in sync, at least some leaders of the party are not in sync with Rahul Gandhi. Tom? I think there is a problem there with the audio. We'll get back to him. Pushpesh Panji, you think that is the case?
I think, just to put it very mildly, I mean, Congress party is not in sync with Rahul and Rahul is not in sync with the Congress party, but there is nothing new in this. I mean, I think he's been a very reluctant leader of the Congress party, and the Congress party, you are talking of the senior leader, except a very small coterie of workers who are direct beneficiaries of his association with him, are probably fed up. They are losing patience. I mean, whatever is wrong with Congress party is probably Rahul Gandhi. I mean, everybody is very happy when Sonia Gandhi takes over the lead, marshals the opposition, forges some kind of united front to take on Modi and the might of the BJP and the NDA. I think he's missing from action always. I mean, yesterday it was a pathetic sight, somebody trying to defend him on a Karan Thapar show and saying that how does it matter that if he has missed 58, 59 days of a crucial budget session? But it's not a question of how does it matter. It is our internal matter. We'll sort it out. The country is looking at a person, a potential prime minister, and an extremely reluctant person to assume that responsibility. I think it's not a question of being in sync with the party. It's somebody who has lost maybe the will to take over the leadership of the party and the organization of the government. You can't escape from responsibility and you can't live on a DNA of leadership in your blood. And I think the rest of the country has lost patience in it.
Vinod? Is it an internal crisis? They tend to dismiss it as an internal crisis. Why are you guys so bothered about it? We will handle it ourselves.
Yeah, much of the professors, what the professor said, you said there is a crisis of perception. And what has been articulated just now is giving expression to a widely spread perception about the Congress party and also of Rahul Gandhi. But the voices, the discordant voices, they aren't discordant in the sense one understands discordance because they are saying that Sonia continue for the time being. Nobody has come up front, stood up and be counted, denouncing Rahul Gandhi's leadership, acumen or his reluctance to lead the party. Nobody has said it in as many words. Yes, of course, independent commentators have been making those comments, but none from within the party yet. The closest anybody went was Amarinder Singh, and he too was very cautious. One must say that he said that we need Sonia at the current juncture, and
that's what Sheila Dikshit has said.
Sheila Dikshit, original quote, she denied later. So let us give her the benefit of doubt. But what I am saying is that nobody has stood up and said in as many words that they don't want Rahul. All that they are saying is that they want Sonia to continue. Now, why? You see, it can be explained in two ways. One, that this is the resistance to change, which you see in most political parties. You saw it in the BJP, you also saw it in the Samajwadi, you saw it in National Conference, and you are seeing it also in the CPM to some extent.
Yes.
A party as disciplined as the CPM is also hedging as to who would be the next General Secretary. I mean, it should have been a decided question by now. But nevertheless, what I am saying is that regardless of what people are saying, my sense is, and I may be wrong because in politics you never know, that change is imminent. Because mid-May, the election process in the Congress party will start. It will kick off. And elections to the Congress president's post have to be done by July end. And if in these elections, Rahul is not elected as president, then it is something which will have to wait 3 years or maybe more. And I don't think that that kind of a leeway either Rahul has or Sonia Gandhi has, or for instance the Congress party has, because no political party can sustain and come across as credible before the people if it has not sorted out the leadership question. It has to sort out good, bad or indifferent.
Mridula, Mukherjee, is this the worst crisis Congress in its history is facing? Or has there been something like this in the past? This succession issue has always been, in the Congress party, right from its history. Is this one of the worst crises?
I don't think it's a succession issue which, there have been many crises in the Congress party. The first one was the big Surat split in 1907 between moderates and extremists, and sharp differences essentially over strategy, what policy should be adopted by the Congress. You had the famous Tripuri crisis, Bose on one side, Gandhi, Patel, Nehru in the middle, rest on the other side, where again it was a fundamental difference over what should be the next step in the freedom struggle. Should it be a mass movement immediately, or should we wait for some time? Those were the issues that were at stake. And I think, of course, with Indira Gandhi, then of course Tandon and Nehru.
Yes.
I mean, perhaps the Congress party has in fact faced much bigger issues, where Nehru himself had to assume the presidentship of the Congress party and fight Tandon. And there it was ideology.
Right.
Because clearly Tandon represented a different ideology. It was not a question over strategy or methods. With Indira Gandhi, then, of course, we come to the succession happened quite smoothly. In fact, first Shastri, then Indira. But it came to a head over who was going to run the party. And they wanted Indira Gandhi to be, rubber stamp, which she was not willing to be. So she came into her own and then made it into an ideological battle, converted the organizational battle into an ideological one, rather skillfully, I think. So they've been through various crises. What happened after Rajiv Gandhi's death and then Narasimha Rao came, but after that the party floundered for quite a while till Sonia came. So there was a whole new leadership succession that took place, again with some blips, but it happened. So I think if you take a historical perspective, to me this seems like a relatively minor one. It's between mother and son, for one. So it's sort of within the family. It's not a terribly difficult one, perhaps. At least it doesn't look like yet. If it becomes one, we don't know. But I doubt it. And I think the issue really here is what is going to be the internal direction within. I think Rahul Gandhi has been quite serious for a long time about pushing for internal democracy. And of course, we know there's been resistance, including arguments that, it leads to division within the party. But, I frankly think that in a democratic system, there must be internal democracy within parties, whether it's a CPM or BJP.
When was the last time Congress saw any internal democracy?
It went off with Indira Gandhi. Till then, it was there. She essentially, because of the crisis, the old guard left her and they took the organization with them. So she actually had to build a new party, and that wasn't easy. And she built one that was loyal to her. And the insecurity led to this transformation. But I think the way forward is through greater democratization. No matter how many blips come on the way, you can't avoid it, you have to do it. So there I think Rahul has been on the right track. Whether it's Rahul or whoever is espousing it is not the issue. So I think there's also resistance, of course, to that change. Maybe, as he said, the old guard may not be liking that change. And this is not a particularly good time because they've had such an electoral setback. So everybody is there ready to throw stones, dismissing Rahul Gandhi as, inept and is the other. And I dare say he's helped in some ways to contribute to that. But within the party, he has been very active. So I think the party perception, and then also one thing more I'd like to say, there's no such thing as the party. And rightly so. I think the Congress has always been a democratic party, and it's good that there are a lot of differences within, which should, the question is, are there adequate forums in which these differences get expressed and adequate ways in which they get resolved, and finally a leader is accepted? I think that's what's very important.
That's important, and that's what seems to be the problem. Tom, can you hear me?
I can, loud and clear.
Okay. Tom, the impression is that the change of guard is imminent, but Rahul Gandhi is being thrust on the party.
Well, Girish, let's look at this. We have a constitution. We have the Congress Working Committee. We have the All India Congress Committee. And all this, he has to go through this. It's not as if everything is it's not a walk down the garden. He has to go through this process, and the democratic process will be in full play. Yes, he is a competent leader. He has the confidence of majority of our leaders. There may be opinions expressed because there is an emotional bondage with Mrs. Sonia Gandhi, because since '98 she has built the party organization from brick to brick. So there is that connect. So change, when it is inevitable, there is bound to be status quoists who would question the fact that is. So these are questions that come up in a democratic process, and there is nothing called differences. These are opinions that finally will strengthen our party. We listen to all of them, and there is the Constitution, there is a Congress Working Committee, and there is the All India Congress Committee, which is an elected body. So democracy, when we talk, starts in all these stages. So whatever happens finally is to be decided by congressmen.
But Tom, sorry to intervene. You said that it is inevitable. Why is it inevitable at this point of time? Who has decided that it is inevitable?
I said change is inevitable.
Exactly, change. You said change is inevitable.
In the process, evolutionary process, change is inevitable. When you resist change, it's part of evolution. When there is a leader, there is a movement. After that, when there is a change, there is an election process. In that change, there is a play of democracy. Whatever comes through will happen, and that what has to happen. I am not an astrologer to predict that, but yes, among the tall leaders we have, Rahul Ji is the tallest, because he has shown the grit to change a lot of things in the Congress party. May have upset some people, yes, but then these are steps that need to bring the party to the force that we have been all the time.
What has changed, Tom? What has changed? What is the change which Rahul Gandhi has brought into the party? Which has made a difference to the party, which has benefited the party organizationally, politically, electorally?
Let me tell you one thing. First, the question here is, you asked me what is inevitable. I didn't answer that question. But for an argument's sake, Rahul Gandhi, if he becomes Congress president, try him out. He is going to bring that change. And that change is something which will change the party. There would be a change. I'm not talking about a total generational change. I'm talking about a mix. The whole concept of you don't change the generation completely. This has to be changed. Talented people would come in, experts in different areas would come in, and this is the change we expect. So give the man a chance, let him be in the chair, helm of affairs, and then you will see the change. Before that, you've taken a view that, well, he can't do this, he can't do that. He did fight an election. We had a problem. We had a problem because he was fighting election on the basis of a mandate and of the UPA government, the performance. He is a later day player in the game. So give him a chance, give him an opportunity, and he will deliver.
Okay. Okay. I mean, that's a very brave defense which you have made. Smita, do you see the problem of the Congress party in the way Tom Vadakkan is trying to defend it?
Well, you know, it's very interesting that while Tom talks about change being inevitable, give Rahul a chance, he's not giving you a timeline. He's telling you at some point the change will take place. He is not even suggesting that it will happen this year. He is not, you know, making a commitment to that. The real problem is today the Congress party is at its, you know, lowest ebb perhaps with its 44 seats. Therefore, for Sonia or Rahul Gandhi to insist on any line of action is difficult, which is why there are people coming out and saying what they have to. The second thing is that while one has to appreciate the fact that Rahul Gandhi wanted to democratize the party, perhaps he even wanted to be a kind of Kejriwal inside the Congress, but, you know, it was not possible really because you had the party structures already in place. Kejriwal was beginning on a blank slate. I think his experiments at democratization have not worked. And he has adopted a managerial style which a lot of people don't like. And it is not right to say that the resistance comes only from the old guard. The resistance comes from a lot of young people
Absolutely.
as well.
I mean, that is exactly the point which I was trying to make even in my introduction, that, you know, it is not just the old guard which is trying to resist. There are a lot of younger generation people who have come out openly and, you know, are resisting this. Why do you think it is happening?
Because, see, if they had won this election, then nobody would have questioned Rahul Gandhi. The idea was, in fact, that immediately after the 2014 Lok Sabha election, Rahul Gandhi was supposed to take over at that stage.
Right.
But because of the results, that was postponed. Then people said that, okay, it will be done in April. But unfortunately, you know, he went off for this 2-month sabbatical. And there has been huge anger inside the party. If you talk over the last few months, one has been talking to Congress leaders, young, old, seasoned, you know, and there is, you know, I mean, they just felt that you just can't take off at a moment when the party is in such crisis. And politics is, as we have seen from the lives of successful politicians, it's a 24/7 business.
And here is a part-time, he is seen as a part-time politician.
Yeah, but I don't agree. I don't think he's a reluctant leader, a reluctant politician.
Okay.
That I don't agree.
Okay. Vinod, you know, is this need for change, which Tom is talking about, change is inevitable. We all know change is inevitable. But at this point of time, why is there a need felt for a change? One. Second thing, or is it just a matter of dynastic succession which has to be ensured?
Look, it's more complex than what it appears. First of all, Congress party has never faced this kind of crisis in its recent history. Not even when Indira Gandhi was facing the syndicate, they never faced it. Not even when there was this presidential election face-off between the syndicate and Indira Gandhi, and she could manage her candidate to win. Indira Gandhi was a different kettle of fish. Indira Gandhi could make her writ run because she was politically very astute, having learnt at the feet of Pandit Nehru, having seen the freedom struggle, and she had those natural endowments which make for a good leader, a very smart leader. And that is how she could defeat the syndicate by saying, "Ye kehte hain Indira hataao, main kehti hu garibi hataao." One slogan did the trick. Now, we haven't heard this kind of political, demonstration of political acumen by Rahul yet. It's a fact. And this is also the reason for apprehension amongst a set of people who, say that people who are today 50, they say that, look, do we have to wait another 10 years to see our party back in power? And by that time, we'd be done and over. We'd be past this, we'd be superannuated in all practical purposes. But look at it from another standpoint. The Congress president, nobody can, it's a no-brainer that the Congress president is immensely relevant to the Congress party, that is Sonia Gandhi. And she will still have to have some kind of a role, even if there is a leadership change at the president's level, you know.
No, my fundamental question, why should there be a leadership change?
People are resisting because there are apprehensions that whether Rahul has it in him to lead the party out of the quagmire, the morass it finds itself today.
Absolutely.
You see, it's a big crisis. And may I tell you one thing? Such a situation would have been daunting even for Indira Gandhi. I have seen Indira Gandhi in the Janata Party period when she lost the election and people deserted her. And I could see only CM Stephen and A.R. Antule and the like, you know, holding aloft the party parcham in parliament and outside, you know. Now, because it's a vastly different situation and because there are certain acumen, certain talents which were tested and didn't succeed and which now there's a need to test them again. So there is a set of apprehensions. But remember, the Congress president, Mrs. Sonia Gandhi, is 68. She's 68. And she's advancing in years. So, you know, there has to be change. Now, whether you can resist the change and postpone it for another 3 years to your own disadvantage or advantage, one does not know. It is, one has to have some degree of clairvoyance to be able to predict the future.
Okay.
But you have to take risk in politics. And if a decision is taken to change the leadership, there will be the risk. Because I remember when Sonia Gandhi was made Congress president, a very senior leader who later became the chief minister of a very important state, came out of the Talkatora stadium and I said, so what do you have to say about
Siri Fort audit.
Siri Fort, no, Talkatora, Siri Fort, whatever. And he said, well, the party has decided to take a risk. It was a risk at that juncture.
Okay.
Even Sonia Gandhi's elevation as president was a risk at that juncture.
Absolutely. Pushpesh Panji. My question is this. Is it an effort to ensure dynastic succession?
Well, I'm afraid so. It looks like it because I think Vinod has made a very persuasive and a very analytical argument in favor of change. I'm afraid that Tom is making an argument which most people in the country would not buy at all. Rahul, at best, is perceived as the best non-performing asset of the Congress party. That's number one. Number two, the crisis of the Congress party is made by Rahul. Tom says give him a chance is for the Congress party to give him million plus chances. But he has not been without chances. He has been in politics for close to 2 decades and a half.
No, 10 years.
10 years, all right. But then the point is, he's been a prince in the waiting, heir apparent in the waiting. And I mean, it's not a question of his being a reluctant leader or not being a reluctant leader. I mean, I think why should we start from the assumption that, fine, I totally agree with Vinod that change has to be inevitable, and that's where Tom also agrees. But does it follow with the same degree of scientific physics certitude that the only option for change is Rahul Gandhi? Why can't there be a change other than Rahul Gandhi within the Congress party?
Absolutely. I'm sure that this question will be asked Professor Mukherjee.
Pant has a point here, you know. Nobody can dispute that. But the ground reality is that the biggest asset and the biggest liability of the Congress party is the Nehru-Gandhi family. That's the ground reality.
Okay. Professor Mukherjee, this dynastic succession has to happen. Is that the way you would also look at it? Is that what the Congress party, you know, is that what is inevitable as far as the Congress party?
Well, at the moment, I think given their experience of what happened after Rajiv Gandhi's death, and there was an alternative leadership that came up. But after the Narasimha Rao government came to an end, that period in between where there were other Congress presidents, etc., was not a happy period for the Congress at all. And the great danger of the party disintegrating, and which is why they went back to the family. Let's please remember that Sonia Gandhi had actually very clearly said
no.
No, and she kept on saying no for 7 years.
Right.
And it's they who went and begged her to come and take, if they wanted a non-dynastic path, it was for them to find ways. After all, so many years had passed.
No, you think now they're trying to find ways to a non-dynastic path?
No, I don't think
so. No, you don't think so yet?
I don't think so yet.
You don't think so yet?
If this doesn't work out, few years down the line, they may well look at something else. At the moment, it doesn't look like.
Tom, you know, at this point of time, when Congress is at its lowest ebb, even in the last session, however, when Rahul Gandhi was missing from the parliament, it was Sonia Gandhi who took the lead. She made those 2 dramatic, moves, which were very successful. And now, if Congress party is going to be headed by a man like Rahul Gandhi, Do you think Rahul Gandhi will be able to have the same kind of, evokes the same kind of confidence, not just among the Congress party, but among the opposition also, because there is a dire need for an opposition unity in the parliament?
Girish, basically, this is a script which is being rewritten. I'm not such a great historian. I would remember the immediate past. Vinod Sharma is fully aware that at one period of time there was a lot of cynicism when Sonia ji took over charge. We had Congress president in Sitaram Kesari, and there was a moment where Sonia ji took the responsibility. There was a lot of cynicism both in the media, and our opposition teams called us all sort of things, made allegations. Finally, she was able to steer clear and give the Congress party 2 terms. I agree we are at the lower step, but let me tell you, Congress president's position is that when finally the position is taken over by anybody of responsibility, which would finally mean that the entire Congress party will be one on that issue. There may be different voices initially, but once a selection process is through, whoever be the Congress president, we'll all be together.
We will wait for that.
In a democratic
No,
party,
we will wait for that, Tom, but you're not answering my question about his ability to take other party leaderships along.
I think right now he is fighting with his hands tied. If he has his team and his people and is given the freedom to do what he plans to do, his achievement will be before the people of India.
Okay.
Finally, his responsibility is for the Congress party and the people of India.
Okay.
He will deliver. We have that confidence in him.
Okay.
And I do believe this will be part of the future history.
Okay. Smita, Tom was talking about, very quickly, we are running out of time. Tom was talking about trying to compare with Sonia Gandhi, how we all, everybody was very cynical about when Sonia Gandhi took over. But don't you think it's a completely different situation comparing Sonia Gandhi of 1998 and Rahul Gandhi of 2015?
I think so, because, in 1998, it's true people were cynical about Sonia Gandhi, but she was a completely untried and untested.
Absolutely.
Nobody knew whether she had the capacity or didn't have. Rahul, on the other hand, has been in politics, active politics from 2004. He's been in politics for 11 years. I think that's why there's a greater cynicism. And to take off from a point that you just mentioned, can he give this leadership to the entire opposition inside parliament? The day the 14 political parties walked to Rashtrapati Bhavan,
right,
a senior Congress leader told me that, thank God Rahul is not in town. Nobody would have, all these parties would not have, walked with him. They have gathered because of Sonia Gandhi's leadership. So, that is something that Rahul Gandhi will have to take on board. I do agree that at the moment there is no choice. The Congress has left itself with no choice but to accept Rahul's leadership, whether it is end of this year or whether it is 3 years down the line. At the moment, there is no other leadership visible outside this party.
Okay, I think on that note, we need to end. There's no other leadership within the Congress party which is visible, which we'll have to wait and watch. Vinod Sharma seems to be sure that the change is imminent in the next few months.
I know, it should be by July.
Should be by July.
So by July, when you have to elect the Congress president.
So we'll wait.
If you're not going to elect the Congress president in July, a new one,
absolutely,
and
so
you
we will
continue
wait
with the old one, then,
so we'll
then
wait.
the matter gets postponed.
So we'll wait and watch what will happen. Then till then, I'm sure there'll be many more debates on this issue. Thanks to all my guests. Please keep watching. We'll come back with another issue, The Big Picture, same time on Monday. Meanwhile, have a great weekend.